My instincts told me to take it slow, but he had built so much trust already, and he always made it clear that I was in control. So I said yes. We met at a small cafe near campus. Ryan looked exactly like his photos: tall, dark hair, soft eyes. He wore a denim jacket and smelled faintly of sandalwood. From the moment we started talking, the world melted away. It was like I'd known him forever. We started dating soon after. It felt unreal. He was so attentive, so thoughtful. He'd bring me my favorite tea when I was stressed, surprise me with little notes in my notebook, and always ask about my day like he genuinely cared. But then, the inconsistencies began. He never introduced me to any of his friends. He said they were mostly scattered across the country from his freelance jobs, but something felt off. He would disappear for entire weekends without a proper explanation. He claimed he was out shooting for a travel documentary, yet I never saw any of the photos he was supposedly taking. When I asked, he'd say the rights belonged to a company and he couldn't share them. The biggest red flag? He never let me visit where he lived. He said he was staying temporarily in a rented loft with terrible plumbing, and it was too much of a mess to have me over. At first, I believed him. I trusted him. But deep down, something was starting to feel wrong. One night, I decided to do a reverse image search on one of the pictures he had posted on Instagram. My heart sank. The photo appeared on a blog post from 2017, credited to a completely different name. I searched his phone number next. It popped up on a community forum with a warning post. Be careful. This guy's not who he says he is. My whole body went cold. I sat there staring at the screen, trying to make sense of it. I wanted to believe there was a reasonable explanation. Maybe it was a mix-up. Maybe he had been hacked. But my gut was screaming the truth. I confronted him the next day. He didn't deny it. Not at first. Instead, he turned on the charm. He told me there was a reason he hadn't been honest. That he had made mistakes in his past and was trying to start over. That he used a fake name because he was scared of being judged. Hi, my name is Lily. I'm 24 years old, and I grew up in a quiet neighborhood outside of Dallas, Texas. If you met me, you'd probably say I'm the kind of girl who plays it safe, studious, organized, maybe even a little cautious. I went to college on a scholarship, double majored in English and psychology, and had every intention of becoming a school counselor. Life was supposed to be predictable, structured, safe. But sometimes life has other plans. Sometimes you get swept up in something that feels so right, so magical, that you forget to look for the red flags. And by the time you notice them, you're already in too deep. This is the story of how I fell for someone who wasn't at all who he claimed to be. It's not just about heartbreak. It's about deception, identity, and learning to rebuild yourself after your whole world has been turned upside down. I'm sharing it now, not because it's easy, but because someone out there might need to hear it. It all began during my last semester of college. I had just started a part-time internship with a mental health nonprofit, and I was adjusting to a heavier course load. Life was hectic, but I was hopeful. I wanted to do good, to help people. That's always been my thing, helping. One night, after submitting a massive paper, I collapsed on my bed and opened Instagram just to unwind. That's when I noticed a new message request. It was from a guy named Ryan. His profile wasn't flashy. A few travel photos, some with friends, one with a dog. He looked normal. His message was simple. Hey, I saw your post about the mental health workshop. Really inspiring stuff. Mind if I ask a few questions? We started talking. His questions were thoughtful. He told me he was a freelance photographer who volunteered with organizations that worked with trauma victims. He seemed deeply interested in what I did, in what I believed. I liked that. I liked feeling seen. Soon, our chats became more frequent. We talked about everything: music, childhood memories, dreams for the future. He was articulate, kind, and funny in a gentle way. Before I knew it, I was checking my phone every few hours just to see if he had messaged. A week later, he asked if I'd like to meet up for coffee. I hesitated. I was crushed. Everything we'd shared, every moment, every story, felt poisoned. How do you recover from something like that? I cried for days. I felt humiliated. I deleted all our conversations, blocked him on every platform, and withdrew into myself. I started questioning everything: my judgment, my instincts, my value. But then something shifted. I remembered who I was. I wasn't just a victim of a lie. I was a strong, intelligent woman who had been deceived by someone with years of practice. And I wasn't going to let that define me. I went back to therapy. I reconnected with old friends. I started journaling again, filling pages with my thoughts, my anger, my healing. Months later, I shared my story for the first time on a podcast just like this one. And the messages I received, they were overwhelming. So many people, women and men, had experienced something similar: being lied to, being manipulated, being used. That's when I realized I wasn't alone. And if you've gone through something like this, you're not alone either. We live in a world where deception can wear a friendly face and slide into your DMS. But that doesn't mean we stop trusting. It means we trust ourselves more. We ask better questions. We learn the signs. And we never blame ourselves for the lies of someone else. If I could go back, I wouldn't change what happened. Not because it wasn't painful, but because it taught me strength I didn't know I had. It reminded me of the importance of boundaries, of self-respect, of listening to your intuition. Now, when I meet someone new, I don't build walls, but I build bridges carefully. I ask more questions. I take my time. And I've learned to love again, not because I needed someone else, but because I learned to love myself first. Thank you for listening to my story. If you're healing from something like this, give yourself grace. You didn't fall because you were weak. You fell because you were open, and that's something to be proud of. Stay safe, stay strong, and never stop believing in the power of your own story. That he hadn't meant to fall in love with me. Yes, those were his exact words. I didn't mean to fall in love with you. For a moment, I almost forgave him. That's the power of manipulation. You're made to believe that lies are layered in love, that secrecy is protection. But then the real truth came out. He wasn't a freelance photographer. He had no portfolio, no published work. He didn't volunteer for trauma victims. He was between jobs and had been drifting from place to place, using Instagram to meet women.